right. Hello, everyone. So we're picking up again in Sri Sarada Devi and her divine play, looking at the divine feminine. We're on the chapter titled The Human Aspects of Holy Mother, and have kind of been working through these different, I don't know, characteristics, things that Mother has done. And today we are talking about Prabodh Chandra Chattopadhyaya. And let's see what he has to say. Prabodh Chandra Chattopadhyaya was the headmaster of the Badanganj High School and also a disciple of Holy Mother. Whenever he visited the mother in Jairambati, he would bring expensive fruits and sweets and other things in a large basket. Holy Mother told him, "My son, I have everything by the Master's grace. I don't have any needs. You are a householder and you have spent so much money on me. You will have to look after your wife and your children and their educational expenses, and you've spent so much money for these gifts." Prabodh was a little hurt. Understanding his wounded feelings, the mother said, "Listen, my son, why have I said this? You are a householder. You need to save something. If you have no savings, how will you serve the monks? The monks do not earn money. They live on the financial help of the householder." Prabodh was touched by the mother's far-sightedness and her affection for him. In Calcutta, the monks took care of the groceries and the household affairs, while Holy Mother took care of the devotees' spiritual welfare. But her vigilant eyes were everywhere. Sarajubala recorded, "One day after lunch, the mother lay down and was about to fall asleep. A servant from Balaram's family called on her and left a basket of custard apples in the shrine for the offering. Then he took the empty basket downstairs and asked the monks what he should do with the basket. They told him to throw it out in the lane. When the mother overheard this, she left her bed and went to the porch. She looked at the lane and said to me, 'Look there, how beautiful that basket is. They've asked him to throw it away. It does not matter to them in the least. They are all monks and totally unattached. But we cannot allow such waste. We should at least use the basket for keeping vegetable peelings.' She asked someone to fetch the basket, to wash it, and to keep it for future use. I learned a lesson from her words, but we were so slow to learn." It is customary in Bengal to eat various kinds of cakes on the last day of the Bengali month of Paush. Posh. All right. Any Bengali want to tell me how to say the month of Paush? Posh? Paush? Posh? Nobody knows? My Bengali friends are speechless. Is this possible? Haima, you're muted.
I say I'm from way southeast, Swami.
Oh, so you're from the southeast.
Right, I'm way from southeast near
All
Bay
right.
Bengal.
Well,
But
in that case, I'll teach all of you how to say it. The proper pronunciation is obviously posh.
ha,
So the Bengali month of
How
posh.
how is how is spelled Swami? Because I don't have the book right now in front of me.
Paush.
Ah.
Paush. Posh. All right. If anybody knows, they can figure out how to tell me at another time. But it falls in the middle of January, and 1 year on that day in Jairambati, Holy Mother husked paddy to make fresh rice, and then washed black lentils vigorously in the pond. She asked Nalini and Sirdabala to grind the soaked rice and lentils into a paste with a pestle and a stone slab. After finishing her bath and worship, she went to the kitchen and made various kinds of cakes. Oh, they list them here. Saru chakli, puli, rasabara, and patisapta. All right. And rice pudding for the rest of the day. She offered the dishes to the master and served the prasad to the devotees and relatives, who enjoyed those delicious cakes immensely. She said to Ashu, I have made a large quantity and saved some for tomorrow. These cakes become tastier when they are kept overnight. You will enjoy them again tomorrow. Ashu was very touched, observing how the mother had worked hard the entire day to serve everyone. So there you get it, right in the words of one of the devotees. Mother working hard the entire day to serve everyone. Part of her clearly her ideal, since that's what we've been watching her do all the way through this book, just constantly serving all day long. Her ever-present eye. So this whole sentence really catches the whole thing, that mother's eye sees everything and that she does all of this service. So that's our challenge, to develop eyes that see everything and to work hard serving all day long. There it is. Humility and sympathy. Pride makes some people artificial, and humility makes them genuine. As God is egoless, so a realized soul must be egoless. Humility is the test of spirituality. Indeed, because why? Anybody want to tell me why humility is the test of spirituality? Cross-reference that with what we know.
Yeah, humility includes self-realization, isn't it? Unless we realize, we can't feel the humility. Is that true,
Well,
Swami?
humility would be lack of egoism. And egoism is Maya.
Self-realization. With self-realization, you drop all the ego. Ego gets dropped
Yes.
automatically.
Right, right. And so to the degree that you have disappeared your ego,
Yes.
to the degree that your ego is gone, to that degree you are spiritual, right? And we can tie that. I'm just doing this as an exercise because this is the way my mind works. It's like, ooh, a test of spirituality. How can that be a test of spirituality? And so you have to go and look at all the other things you've heard and link them all together. And this is where you end up sometimes with some really cool insights. The one that happened this last week was the three things that do not change, right? And then realizing as I contemplated the three things that do not change that they're all God. I managed to link God into a unity. It was an obvious way, but in a way that I had never considered, and in a way that my mind had never linked, that the moment, the self, and God are all the divine reality. And so I had known that individually and talked about them all individually, but to see the three of them as separate things and then to be able to consolidate them into a single thing, that was cool. That would put some interesting ideas in the head. So excuse me. So humility being the test of spirituality, we know that's possible because humility means absence of ego, and egoism is the veil of Maya, and uh, that Swami Vivekananda says that the only two questions that you can use to test your spirituality or to know how spiritual you are one, are you unselfish? And two, are you loving? Both which are states of humility, non-egoism. So humility is the test of spirituality. Ramakrishna demonstrated his humility by cleaning the toilet of the Dakshineshwar temple garden and the drain of the sweeper rasik. Wow, apparently I have demonstrated my humility many times in life. pretty much 16 years straight in San Francisco. I washed all the temple toilets. He also swept the garden. Oops, he did one better than me. He swept the garden path and acted as a gardener. Holy Mother washed the clothes of her devotees, cooked for them, mopped the floor of her home in Jairambati, swept the courtyard, and did many so-called menial tasks. As a divine being and the wife of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, she did not need to perform the duties of a maidservant and cook. However, the performance of such activities was necessary for the mother to present herself as a role model for her disciples and future generations. right? There is no one, I'm just going to say this out loud from this side of the pond. There is no one too good for any form of work. And so Holy Mother is demonstrating that here. She's not making an exception to her exception because she's the wife of a Paramahamsa. That is one way of talking about it. But she, in my eyes, she's doing work, menial work, as a demonstration that all of us are good enough for menial work. Toward the end of her life, Holy Mother became feeble, so an elderly Brahmin woman was hired to cook for her large household in Jairambati. Holy Mother used to call her aunt. It is customary to pay respect to the seniors on the last day of Durga Puja. So when Holy Mother was sent to bow down to the Brahmin cook, she said, "What is this, Mother? You are the mother of the universe, and all people bow down to you. I'm an ordinary woman. I can't accept your salutation." But the mother insisted. She bowed down to her and said, "It is perfectly all right. You are my aunt." Right? You see, because with Mother, it wasn't a demonstration, really, as I think about that whole conversation. With Mother, it was just who she is. Mother knew Satchitananda, and Satchitananda has no pride. Satchitananda will do anything for anyone to serve them and to love them, whether it's menial or whether it's posh or high or low. Sympathy exists in all hearts, but it may not manifest in all of them. Holy Mother's sympathy always flowed towards everyone around her, and it manifested through her love and service. Earlier, we described her sympathy for actresses who had questionable character. Their glamour and riches could not give them peace, so from time to time they visited the mother in Udbodhan house. According to the Kaushitaki Upanishad, whomever the indwelling self wishes to uplift from this mundane world, it makes that person do good deeds. To uplift some poor and neglected souls, Holy Mother sometimes accepted personal service out of compassion. One day, she told a little boy, "My son, please pick some flowers for me. You are my jewel." The boy refused, but Holy Mother insisted. Finally, that boy picked up flowers for her worship. Though Holy Mother had several attendants, she asked one poor elderly village woman to massage her feet with oil. The woman said that she was too tired from working the whole day and needed to rest. Holy Mother pleaded, "Look, my child, give me a little massage for my feet. What else can you do?" The woman yielded at last. This is the way that the Mother sometimes bestowed her grace on some souls without letting them know about it. That's a beautiful thing, actually, when you think about that. It's lovely. It's it's lovely because I wouldn't have known what was going on. And I'd be like, "What? Rub your feet? What are you talking about?" Mom. Yeah. It's tricking people into service because you know it will be a blessing for them. I'm not going to say that's a teaching for us to do, but for Holy Mother. But that's a beautiful thing that shows you the compassion of Holy Mother. It falls nicely in when she was listing the other day some signs of grace. And she said that one of the most prominent signs of grace is if you're allowed to say your mantra. And I thought that was so beautiful to recognize your mantra, the repetition of your mantra as a sign of grace. That's a direct sign that if you ever want to wonder, do I have Mother's grace? See if you can say your mantra. And if you can say your mantra, say it. Know that you're being blessed in real time by your beloved Mother. Love and compassion. Without love and compassion, human beings are all like beasts. These two noble qualities make life smooth and joyful. They exist in every human heart to differing degrees, That person is great whose love and compassion are focused on others. Through love and compassion, one can get rid of selfishness, which is a sin. Jesus taught his disciples to love their neighbors and to treat others like the Good Samaritan, who rescued a wounded man by the side of the road. Buddha, Ramakrishna, and other great teachers taught their followers to love and to serve people with their hearts and souls. Holy Mother was the embodiment of love and compassion, and these qualities were manifested in all her actions and dealings with people. Although Holy Mother followed the social customs of her time, she didn't approve of all of them. For example, Orthodox Hindu widows of Bengal led a very austere life during Holy Mother's lifetime. They ate one strict vegetarian meal a day, fasted on Ekadashi day, shaved their heads, did not put oil on their bodies, wore plain white saris, practiced spiritual discipline, and so on. Holy Mother herself did not follow such strict rules. After the Master's passing away, she ate vegetarian food and wore a plain white sari with a thin red border and did not shave her head. Due to social pressure, some widows practiced such rigorous austerities that it seemed that they were going to kill themselves. The mother advised one such widow, "At night, first offer chapatis, milk, fruits, and sweets to the Master, and then eat some." According to the custom of those times, a widow was not supposed to eat cooked rice twice a day. The mother modified the rule for the sake of that widow's fragile health. Shirobhala Roy, a young widow from Bangladesh, came to Udbodhan House for initiation. She was a very austere woman and observed the local customs to excess. She recalls, staring at me intently, right? Mother asked, "My child, what do you take on Ekadashi day?" I replied, "Well, formerly I used to eat sago, but learning that it is adulterated with various other things, I don't take it now." As soon as she heard this, the mother said, "No, no, I say you should take sago. It will keep your body cool." Then, with deep sorrow in her voice, the mother said, "Child, you have been practicing much austerity. I say, don't do it any further. Your body has almost turned into a piece of wood. How will you perform spiritual practices if your health is broken, my child?" I mean, the beautiful thing, it's just look, her compassion is from top to bottom, you know? She's just any possible way that she can care about you, she makes a point of it, you know? Like any method, any means, any need that she can find. It's just beautiful. I'm sitting here reading this, how Mother, if the universe wants to lift you up, it allows you to do good service, good deeds. And, I'm sitting there trying to think of any good deeds that I've done today or anything like that. I'm like, oh my God, does the universe now want to lift me up? What do I need to do here? How do we become like this? And really the answer is just open your eyes and serve. There's no real trick to it. It's just amazing, though. She asked whether I used oil, and I said I haven't used it ever since I was widowed. On hearing this, the mother said, "The use of oil keeps the head cool. Therefore, use the oil." I said, "As I have not used it for a long time, I've begun to hate the feel of it. I shall not be able to use oil, Mother." Golap Ma said, "Well, though she is very young, she has ruined her health by fasting and practicing other austerities." Gorima said, "Dear, why have you cut off your hair?" I said, "Widows in our part of the country do not grow their hair." Gorima replied, "Without hair, one's eyesight deteriorates." Without hair, one's eyesight deteriorates. Since you have dedicated your body to Sri Krishna, how does your hair belong to you, dear? Wow. Yogin Ma then said, "This body is the temple of God. It is wise to keep it fit." But the mother said, "You have done well. Keeping one's hair gives rise to a feeling of fashionableness to some extent, for one has to take care of it. So what you have done is right. You have overcome the craze for luxuriant locks, and you have also come here. You have now achieved that for which you lived so austerely. Now, I say, don't indulge in such austerities any longer. You will have initiation tomorrow. Come here at 8 o'clock in the morning. It will be nice to take a holy dip in the Ganges and to see Mother Kali on the day of initiation." That must have been so fulfilling for that woman. Can you imagine? Having done all those austerities, having been a widow and suffered so much of that difficulty, and then to come to Holy Mother and have her feed you and tell you to oil your hair and to take care of yourself and to stop doing your austerities, that you've gotten your reward. Today you've gotten the reward for all of your austerity. Now please don't do them anymore. What an amazing freedom she must have felt. What a wonderful release and camaraderie. Can you imagine to know that you have someone like the Holy Mother batting for you? What a sweet, sweet, and beautiful thing.
Swami,
Yes,
Triguna sent a message to me that she's trying to connect and cannot get hold of this line, this Zoom link. I don't know why. She was there a few minutes ago. She just sent me a text. I can't connect. Do you know why? And I just don't know why.
I don't either.
Yeah, I thought I said you were there a couple of minutes ago. What happened? And she says, I can't connect anymore. Is there something that blocks people? But we're all here, 15 of us.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody's being blocked.
Yeah, something.
Does somebody have her number that can call her and see if they can walk her through it?
I have the number. I could call her.
If you want to do that,
Yeah,
you can be her grace today. All right. Once, when the master was still alive, Yogin Ma took her widowed aunt to Dakshineshwar. It was an Ekadashi day, and she was fasting, taking neither food nor water. She had fasted the previous day also. When this elderly woman arrived at the Nahabat, she was gasping and could not stand erect. The mother held her and asked, "Shall I give you a little sherbet?" The woman refused because she was fasting. After a while, the mother and Yogin Ma took her to the master's room. While going up the steps, she almost fell. Immediately, the master came forward and held out his hand to her. The master asked, "Why is she gasping?" Yogin Ma explained the situation. Then the master said to Holy Mother, "Why did you not give her a little sherbet?" Mother replied that she had offered, but the widow had refused to take it. The master took some sugar from his shelf, mixed it with some Ganges water, and said to the woman, "Please drink this." She looked at the master's face and then drank without another word. She said gratefully, "Father, my heart is cool now." Ramakrishna and Holy Mother never encouraged the mortification of the flesh. One cannot concentrate on God if one suffers from hunger pangs. The master said, "Religion is not possible on an empty stomach." Holy Mother also said, "First calm your body with food and drink, and then call on God." This is a very practical teaching. This is funny because I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. We were talking to the nuns actually down in the convent about, I've known some devotees like, one of my old friends, Chris in San Francisco, used to always make his cup of tea before he would meditate. And I was talking to somebody yesterday who would make their cup of coffee. They would, first thing in the morning was always coffee. Wasn't their practice or anything, just first was coffee. And then they would sit, and I made some comment about, gosh, I always want my cup of coffee first, but I always feel like I should do first things first, and I do my practice first. And then one of the people there at the table said, "Gosh, I always do have coffee with my practice." And I was listening to that, and just the general conversation, how supportive people were. It's like they weren't getting stuck on, nobody said, "Oh, that's right, Maharaj, you should do first things first." And the general consensus was that's fine, that it's a good thing, to have your cup of tea or have your cup of coffee with your practice. And so I don't speak against it. I just think it's really a symbol of that compassion, of Thakur. No, I'm not endorsing it either. I'm just saying. I'm just kind of laying it out there. But it's nice to see how Mother here has made several exceptions today in some traditional practices, for to make room for people to do what is healthy and what is beneficial to them. Whether it was eating that food or not doing austerities, or turning the volume down on your austerities a little bit, like that. And so it just shows that even in our practice, even in our uh, practice of our religion, that there are times for compassion to outweigh the rules, the strictness. It shouldn't be a casual thing, but I think if you recognize Mother's allowance toward you and see it as an act of compassion on her part for you, that it could actually be a benefit for you, because not only would you then sit and enjoy your cup of coffee or tea, but you would know that you're enjoying Mother's hospitality, Mother's kindness toward you in her allowance of taking care of you. That the first thing that's first is love, and that God has this same love for you, right? And if we think in that way and keep that at the forefront of our mind, then of course we're going to be fine. If you do it for out of license or out of just thoughtlessness, I don't know, you're on your own on that one, but God's pretty great, so he might overlook that even. So first, calm your body with food and drink, and then call on God. This is a very practical spiritual teaching. There you go, final word. Holy Mother's sister-in-law, Shurtabala, was very sad after her husband's death and decided to eat only boiled rice and ghee once a day and strictly observe the Ekadashi fast without even drinking water. The mother told her, "Don't torture yourself. Please drink water. Look, if the soul wants to eat something, one should offer it. Otherwise, fasting becomes a harmful act. The soul cries out, saying, 'She has deprived me of food.' Holy Mother, Yogan Ma, and Golub Ma did not fast completely on Ekadashi day. They ate luchis, fruit, and sweets." Well, there's something in there. My first thought when reading this, Holy Mother's sister-in-law was very sad about her husband's death and decided to eat only boiled rice and ghee once a day and strictly observe the Ekadashi fast without even drinking water. I'm not saying this is the case in this situation, but it does remind me of some things in the beginning for me that I had to watch out for. And what I'm saying here is that when you have this kind of impetus to do intense practice, to do grand or heroic acts of practice, that when you feel that, it might not be a bad idea to sit down and test yourself, observe yourself, because a lot of times the ego encourages us to do big heroic acts like that. They're not sustainable, they're not necessarily good for you. They may harm your body and whatnot. But if they're an inspiration of love, if they're an inspiration and they're something that you really want to do in a positive way, okay. But be careful, because a lot of times egoism will push us in this direction and it will be harmful, because what will happen if you're not ready for it, if you haven't trained your mind properly and you go and you do a big heroic act like that, a lot of times that rubber band will snap back. You know, the mind will snap back and it might start resisting your practice in a general way because it remembers, like, oh, well, I don't want to associate with that, you know. So be careful. We want to keep our ego out of our practice utterly and keep our ego out of our religion as much as possible, right? Because that's where fundamentalism comes from, and that's where that harshness comes from, and that self-righteousness and that smugness, uh, of being a religious person. So these are things we really have to watch out for because we're so susceptible to them. Sometimes we want to do these outrageous practices to be recognized as a spiritual person, right? Or to be seen as a spiritual person. And that doesn't seem like such a big deal, but it's a huge deal because if you don't squash that quickly, then your whole spiritual practice can become neutered, because it's supposed to be eliminating ego. The point of our practice is to eliminate ego. And if you connect your practice with ego, then you've done yourself a great disservice, a great disservice. So be careful in that. So Holy Mother's sister-in-law, Shodabala, was very sad after her husband's death and decided to eat only boiled rice and ghee once a day and strictly observe the Ekadashi fast without even drinking water. The mother told her, "Don't torture yourself. Please drink water. If the soul wants to eat something, one should offer it." Right? So you offer it to God and then eat it as prasad. I think that's what she's talking about there. Otherwise, fasting becomes a harmful act. The soul cries out, "She's deprived me of food." Holy Mother, Yogan Ma, Golap Ma did not fast completely on the Ekadashi day. They ate luchis and fruit and sweets. Holy Mother had a very soft corner in her heart for the poor and the downtrodden people of society. Shirobala Roy recalls, one day a woman vendor came to Udbodhan to sell blankets. She wanted 1 rupee, 4 annas for one blanket. Nalini began to bargain with her and offered 1 rupee. After a while, the mother said to Nalini, "Why are you haggling so long over 4 annas? Shame on you. This poor woman carries her merchandise on her head and moves from door to door to earn a little money, and you are detaining her such a long time. Moreover, you don't need a blanket." Moreover, you don't need a blanket, and still you want to buy one. It would be better to buy one blanket for her. Holy Mother was pointing to Chirobala. As she sleeps only on a blanket and she has only one. She is content with only one blanket and never asks for anything from anyone. Chirodbala was touched by Mother's compassion and also amazed by how the mother kept track of her needs. Love is the cement that connects human hearts. Wow, there it is. Love is the cement that connects human hearts. A loveless life is dull, it's dreary, boring, tiresome, heavy, burdensome, painful, unpleasant. Tennyson said, "It is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all." Holy Mother taught a naughty little girl who had given her family a great deal of trouble how to love. Mukumala, a granddaughter of Bhavanath Chattopadhyay, regularly came to Udbodhan house with her parents, and the mother always gave her plenty of sweets to eat. The mother initiated her when she was 9 years old. Once, when the Holy Mother was about to leave for Jairambati, she said to the girl, "Darling, you have been visiting me for a long time. Do you love me?" "Yes, I love you very much." "How much?" The girl stretched out her arms as wide as she could and said, "That much." Holy Mother asked, "Will you still love me when I'm away in Jairambati?" "Yes, I will love you just the same. I shall not forget you." "How shall I know it?" "What shall I do to make you know?" "I shall be sure of your love for me if you can love everyone at your home." "All right, I will love all of them. I will not be naughty any more." "That's very good. But how shall I know that you will love everyone equally and not some more and some less?" "What shall I do to love everyone equally?" "Let me tell you how to love everyone equally." Mhm. Let me tell you how to love. How to love everyone equally. Wow, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what's that. I can't. Do not demand anything of those whom you love. If you make demands, some will give you more and some will give you less. In that case, you will love more those who give you more and less those who give you less. Thus, your love will not be the same for everyone. You will not be able to love everyone impartially. The little girl promised to love everyone without demanding anything in return. Her family reported that from that time forward, her behavior had become exemplary. Excuse me just a second. I gotta do some fountain words here. Oh my gosh. Oof. Sorry about that. I don't really know what's going on there. I don't have an explanation for it. What a beautiful thing, though. This loving everyone equally means to love and expect nothing in return. Boy, that is such a truth. Because when you have expectations, boy, it does. It really messes it up. And if you tie egoism to it, boy, that also really makes a mess of things.
That's unconditional love, Swami. No
Yeah,
conditions attached to
thank you. That's right.
just treating everybody the same law. No return. We're not looking for anything in return. That's
Yes,
unconditional. No conditions attached to it.
that's it. That's divine love.
That's not easy, but it's a lot of practice, daily practice.
Yes. Well,
That,
actually, it's actually easier than not doing it. You
that's
know,
true. Yes.
when you look at it, when you look at it as a matter of fact thing, it's easier to love with no expectation. The expectations really are a burden all the way through. You
It's
know,
almost, yeah, you're
that's the
right.
thing. That's the thing about Maya is it flips it on its lid, so that the difficult thing looks easy, seems like it's the easy thing, but it's only because of our ignorance that it's the easy thing. It's only because of our impurities that it's the easier thing.
Almost every time we have to tell ourselves when we're treating good or bad or different people who hurt us. But it's like, I'm not going to expect anything from this person or this thing, or
No,
then
it's a hard, yeah, it's a very hard teaching because you
very
know,
hard. It's very
yeah,
hard, but it becomes normal after a while. After
yes,
so many times doing it, then you are like, it's karma yoga, unattached.
right. It returns us to our true nature.
Unattached to the result.
Right.
Do for doing sake, not for something else in return.
Yeah. No, it's a
Karma
good
yoga.
thing.
Karma yoga.
Yeah. That's a hard thing to know too, because a lot of times, I mean, somebody that you're just serving nicely, and then you hear they say something mean about you.
That's
Your
right.
first, your first statement is, "But I treat them so nicely."
But
So even though you thought you were doing it for no reason, you actually had a reason.
but we did our part, but that's about them. It tells about the other person, not about me.
No,
When
that's
I
very
treat
true.
you nicely, you say something bad about me. It's about you, not about me, right?
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's tough.
Yeah.
It is. Thank you.
This is why, yes, that's why discernment, our daily discernments, our constant discernments, because the mind is a relative machine, and once it starts drifting in a direction, it's hard to tell it's drifting because everything is maintained in perfect relationship to each other. But you can drift downhill quite far before you realize the condition of your mind has spoiled a bit.
It's the ego. Ego wants something
Always.
good to hear, but we may not always hear good stuff.
Yeah.
Even when you do good deeds also get punished sometimes, right?
Oh yeah. Well,
In
I mean,
life.
yeah. If you start, yeah, no, other people will start to react to them in different ways.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Swami.
Yes. All right, we're on chapter 32 now. Two flowers on one stem. As the word and its meaning are interconnected and one cannot exist without the other. Sorry, I have to call back. As the word and its All right. Sorry about that. As the word and its meaning are interconnected and one cannot exist without the other, so the Divine Mother Parvati and the Supreme Lord Shiva are eternally connected, like power and the possessor of power. I bow down to the parents of the universe. It is impossible for the limited human intellect to comprehend the infinite God. We can try to understand something of God by reading descriptions in the scriptures and by observing the lives of avatars, saints, and godlike souls. In this chapter, we shall learn that what Holy Mother said about Ramakrishna, which will help us visualize how these two divine beings interacted and played their divine roles in this world. Though they had separate names, they had separate forms. Essentially, they were one substance, pure consciousness, and they were aware of this. The Svetasvatara Upanishad says that the same Brahman manifests in this universe through multiple names and forms. Thou art woman, thou art man, thou art the youth and the maiden too. As an old man thou totterest along on a staff. It is thou alone who, when born, assumes diverse forms. According to non-dualistic Vedanta, Brahman, the Absolute, becomes Purusha and Prakriti through its power of Maya. But the two are always interconnected. Shakti Shaktimam Abheda. There it is, Abhedaha. The power and possessor of power cannot be separated. It is like fire and its power to burn, milk and its whiteness. The dualistic Vaishnava tradition says that Krishna is the only Purusha and all males and females in the universe are in the domain of Prakriti. Ramakrishna said, it is Brahman alone that appears as Ishvara, Maya, living beings, and the universe. That which is Brahman is also Shakti, Kali. On the 16th of October, 1883, Ishan Mukhopadhyay said to the master that according to the Chandi, Brahman alone is the primal energy. Brahman is identical with Shakti. The master said, it will not do to simply express that idea in words. Only when you assimilate it will it be well with you. Right? And that's pretty much right there, that statement. It should be an accompanying statement to every Advaitic conversation. These things are easily said, they're easily spoken about, and they seem like they're simple to understand, but they are profound beyond words to what that actually manifests when you know it, right? When you know the two to be one, like that, the power of God and the divine absolute. There's some real, I mean, the implications of that go all the way down. And so truly, until a man is realized, until a man is able to forget that he has a body, forget that he has a mind and a name, until then, we really can't say that we know Advaita, that we know this truth. We can spout the philosophy. We can even intellectually come up with a way of grasping it. But when you think about what it implies, it's much more than a mental exercise. It will not simply do to express that idea in words. Only when you assimilate it will it be well with you. This type of discussion on Brahman Maya, Shiva Shakti, Purusha Prakriti is mysterious to us. We read or hear these words but cannot comprehend their relationship until we unveil the mystery through the experience of oneness. The lives of Ramakrishna and Holy Mother can help us understand to some extent how God and the Divine Mother, Shiva and Shakti, Purusha and Prakriti, function on the dualistic plane. In Bodhisara, Narahari Acharya used an analogy to explain this phenomenon. When a newly married bride goes to her husband's home, she is so shy that she wears a veil and cannot talk to her husband in front of anyone. But she feels united with him through her heart and loves to see him through her veil. Similarly, when duality dissolves in the heart of a spiritual aspirant, he experiences union with the Atman, or God. But with a view to playing or interacting with God, he separates himself from the divine and begins to worship him with love and devotion. In fact, before illumination, duality is delusion and bondage. But after illumination, duality is sweet and beautiful. Wow, that is a fantastic thought to end on. So we'll stop there for today. That is a wonderful sentence right there. After illumination, duality is sweet and beautiful. So it's not the duality that's wrong or that's painful or full of suffering. It's our lack of illumination, of knowledge. Hmm. Anyone find anything in that beautiful bag of goodies today that inspired them or?
Well, I'm continually, when you were reading about her compassion and love, of course, I continually come back to my teacher, Swami Asheshananda, who was just like that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he was, and he was pretty austere for himself, but for us, he was just pure love and didn't want us to do a lot of austerities and whatnot. He would, but then just to give it to Holy Mother, it was pretty profound.
Wow. Yeah, he was a disciple of Holy Mother. So yeah, all right. So
And
wonderful.
he cooked for us, and then earlier on, all the household duties. I can remember up to the time when he was in his 90s. He was out raking leaves on the cold, winter evenings at the Vedanta Society. I mean, he was phenomenal what he did. I think he was in a lot of pain, but he liked doing all that and cooking for people. And yeah, he was just the